All right, let's give this a go. Here we go. Here we try. Hello, everybody. My name is Chris Flugeman. I'm going to be the instructor this semester for SUR 305 Geodetic Surveying. Looking over the roster, I see I've met or know most of you. There's a few names I don't recognize or haven't met yet, so thought I'd make this quick video, kind of go over the class, give you a little introduction on myself. I started teaching here full-time February of 2025, so I'm coming up on a full year. Prior to that, I worked out in the surveying industry since about 1996 full-time, mostly as a survey technician. And I have worked on about every type of project you can imagine. I've worked at on boundary surveys, ALTA surveys, topographic surveys, lots of construction layout. I have also in my time worked for large corporations, small family-owned shops, medium-sized firms, and about everything in between. I got a lot of experience in the surveying world. I also am a graduate of the bachelor's program here at Cincinnati State. I actually graduated with my bachelor's here in December of 2022. Since then, I obtained my initial license in Indiana. After that, I got my license in Kentucky and then Ohio. So I am licensed. I've been through the program. I actually even started doing this very late in life. So I'm glad to see everybody here. And even if you started a little bit later, you're not a traditional student, I'm happy to see you here. Welcome. So yeah, that's a little bit about myself. I'm married. My wife and I have a son, a daughter, and last year we acquired a son-in-law. My daughter got married and they live down in Nashville, so we've been taking some trips and visiting down there. That's a little bit about me. Let's talk a little bit about SUR 305 Geospatial Surveying. I want to be upfront with you folks here. I'm trying to think of how to actually word this or how to explain this clearly. SUR 305 was the initial geodetic surveying class. We were looking at some of the curriculum, and some of this started even before I started working here, that there was a lot of overlap and similar topics that were discussed in various classes. And what we were wanting to do is consolidate and kind of redo some of the classes. Technically, 305 is going away after this semester because of the timing that you guys started your school career. This is still one of the classes that you need to graduate. I'm bringing this up because this class is getting phased out and turning into SUR, oh my gosh, I'm going to forget, 230. It's another geospatial surveying class that I taught in the summertime with some of you. Just give you a heads up, there's going to be a bit of redundancy here. It's just kind of the way it is. I am going to try to make it a little bit different so it's not the exact same week for week as it was in the summer for those that I had in the summer, this past summer. So with that, I'd like to go over some things on Brightspace and go through this syllabus and things like that. Real quick, I guess I will go over here before I jump into that. I have office hours. They are posted on Starfish. I will be in office on Monday from 9 in the morning till noon. I am available in person if you want to stop in and see me. Send me an email if you want to have a Teams or Zoom meeting or just a straight telephone call. All my office hours are like that, the in-person, email, Zoom, Teams, telephone. Tuesday, I will be there from noon till 5 p.m. Thursday, 12:30 to 2:30 p.m. Again, in person, stuff like that. Now, if those office hours don't work for you, shoot me an email. Say, hey, I can't make any of those office hours, but I'd like to talk with you or meet with you. Can we schedule another time after hours or something? I'm more than happy to work with you. Yeah, shoot me an email. We'll figure something out. We'll get in. We'll get to talk, have a Teams meeting, whatever you'd like to do. Yeah, so with that, I'm going to jump over to the screen here and kind of talk about that stuff, and we'll go from there. So one of the things with Brightspace, I'm still kind of learning a bit myself. Brightspace was new last semester to the school. Some of the things you might want to be aware of, up in the top right where your name is, if you click on yourself, now as the instructor, mine's going to look a touch different than yours. However, here are some things that you do need to be aware of. Here's notifications. You should have notifications. This is where you can download the app. Also, if you want notifications as far as when an announcement gets posted, when there are due dates, or anything to this here, anything related to activity feed, announcements, assignments, content, discussions, you can select here that, hey, send me an email when something happens. Excuse me, I wanted to be aware. I just learned about this late last semester, and I thought I'm going to start with this right away, just in case anybody was not aware. What else we have? Discussions, grades, custom notifications, things to that nature. Okay, so in the table of content, we'll go to week 1. And what you should see here is the Welcome to 305 Geospatial Surveying. I'm trying my best to work and get lectures. Some of these lectures may be from 2:30 when I did this in the summer last year. But I will try to get lectures posted as quickly as I possibly can. Thank you for your patience. Hopefully everything you need should be right here on the Brightspace. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please feel free to shoot me an email. For this book, we're saying what is required is GPS for Land Surveyors by Jan Van Sickle. And I kind of realized after the fact here, I think this says 4th edition. I believe there is a 5th edition out. If you have the 4th or 5th, we'll try to work through it together. That might be a bad on my part. It's a good reference. It's going to get into a lot more detail than we will cover with this. But if you really want to get more in depth, you're really fascinated with how the GNSS system works, it's a great resource. Another book we're going to use is the Navstar Global Positioning System Surveying by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. This book, I have a link to it as a PDF on Brightspace. So this is one thing you do not need to buy. Another thing I'm probably going to use as a supplementary, you don't have to go out and buy this, but hopefully you have this already, is the Elementary Surveying. This is a great book for beginning surveying and learning surveying. So hopefully you have this from prior classes. I will probably use this a little bit here and there for supplemental work or supplemental reference material. Down at the bottom of the welcome here, there's a discussion board on Brightspace. An introduction, little topic thread there. Introduce yourself. Stop in and say hi, how far along you are. Tell me a little about yourself, where you're at. This is graded. There are points for this. Part of your attendance homework. The next thing down we have is the course outcomes and objectives. This is all ABET related. As you know, this is an ABET accredited degree. So we do post the various ABET accredited outcomes. Further down below, we have the syllabus for 2026. I apparently forgot to have that on this morning when the class went live. It is there now. And there may be some typos. I had a student email me with another class. Hey, Chris, you got lab times from 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. Yeah, that ain't right. It's supposed to be in the p.m. you see something, say something, let me know. Uh, the syllabus we'll go through a little bit more shortly after I go through some other things, but it's a working document. Okay, some things may be subject to change, but this is the general guideline that we're going to try to follow. Next is the Navstar Global Positioning System reference book. This book's pretty big. Do not need to print it out. If there are maybe some sections or a page or two, some reference material, feel free. Do not feel like you have to print this whole thing out. It's huge. Don't do it. Download it, save it. It's right here. You don't have to buy anything. And also, I recommend the NGS website. That's going to be another website that we're going to use for reference material. They have some good videos and lectures about datums and things to that nature. So I'm going to have a lot of stuff straight from the NGS linked to this course. Go ahead and bookmark it, save it. It's very useful if you don't have it already. I'm just beating this dead horse here, but the last thing I have is the NCEES approved calculators. I don't think we're really going to be using a calculator in this class. I don't foresee that. However, for those of you who are the surveying majors and you want to get your license, when you go through, you have to take the fundamentals and the practice, principles and practice survey exams, the NCEES national exams. The only thing you're allowed to take in with you is a calculator. And it's going to be one of, well, I have a link to the actual policy of which ones. If you guys don't have this, I strongly recommend getting one of these calculators and start learning it now. Okay, let's go back and look at the syllabus here. And of course, I already have the first typo. The summer 2026, we're obviously in spring of 2026. Geospatial surveying, this is going to be online. I am your instructor. My contact information. I try my best to be responsive to emails, but I'm not going to lie. Sometimes they get buried and I get tons of them, and sometimes things slip through the cracks on me. I apologize. That's my bad. If I don't reply in a timely manner, says within like 48 hours, shoot me an email again. If you want to wait 24 hours or whatever, shoot me an email again. That's fine. I have my office hours listed here, and again, they're on Starfish for you to book time with me, if you will. Again, I have listed the course textbooks, the GPS for surveyors, the Navstar GPS surveying by the Army Corps that is provided in Brightspace, darn margins. And optional resource, hopefully you have already and would not need to buy this. Don't feel like you have to buy this if you don't have it, is the elementary surveying book. I'm hoping you have it still. The other required materials, it's the calculator. I'm just beating that dead horse right now. Just going to keep saying it. If you don't need it for this class, but if you don't have one, get one, start learning it. So I also grabbed this syllabus and started working on it from like another class. So there might be some things that just kind of read funny that I did not catch. Like this labs. Obviously, being an online class, we do not have any attendance for those, and labs outside dress accordingly. I believe most of you have been working as surveyors already. You understand the importance of dressing accordingly when you're working outside anyway. Okay, so from there, the course description from the school is using geospatial methods. Because this is online and we do not have any in-person labs, this is going to be pretty much a lot of theory. Reading books, taking quizzes. You know, if we were in person, we could actually get our hands on some actual survey equipment and do some actual field labs. If you got any questions about anything though, please feel free to ask. Shoot me a call, shoot me a text, shoot me an email. I really, oh goodness, Chris. I really try to spend a lot of time going through a handful of classes trying to get ready for this semester. So obviously some things slipped through the cracks on me and I did not get to everything I wanted to. Again, this syllabus is a living document, or all, whatever that fancy terms are for that, holistic synergy. I don't know. Subject to change. We'll go with that. Again, we got the ABET accredited outcomes. The attendance policy. We will have, again, first things first is that introduction discussion thread. Please do that. That is part of your attendance. That is worth points. Otherwise, attendance is going to be if you're turning in your work, doing quizzes and doing whatever else we have assigned during the class. Pretty straightforward as far as the grading scale. 90 to 100 is an A, 80 to 89 is a B, 70 to 79 is a C, 65 69 D, and below 65 is an F. I do not want to fail anybody. So we do have a handful of labs. I don't think this might be completely correct here as far as lab attendance reports, quizzes, tests. That should. Okay, yeah, we do not have 10 labs. I can tell you that much here. We will have 2 quizzes. I might not have all the quizzes on here right off the bat. So here's the general schedule for geospatial surveying this semester. I have it broken down by week, lecture topic, chapters, and homework or lab or quiz or whatever. So the first week, this is just the introduction. Hey, I'm here, I'm talking to you folks, wanted to go through this stuff, say hi. No real class assignment work. Your only real assignment would be make sure you have your books, your material that you need. Get your GPS for land surveyors book if you don't have that already. I'm not going to say anything about the calculator again. But yeah, just make sure you have all your materials, got everything prepped, got everything ready. Print this out, have it at your disposal. That's kind of what week 1 is going to be here. Week 2, we're going to start into the Geodetic surveying with the Navstar book, chapters 2, 3, and 5. Week 3 is the Indiana Society Professional Land Surveyors Conference. That will be I will be attending that Wednesday through Friday. So if you do email me, I'm not going to be able to be super responsive. I will try to be as responsive as I can while I'm at that conference. However, I might not be able to answer something right away. That's why I put that on there. That week, we're going to talk about horizontal and vertical datums. We got a chapter from the GPS book and from the Navstar book. We'll do our first lab the third week about datums and reference frames. Fourth week, we'll go into map projections, state plane coordinates. We have some chapters from the GPS for surveyors Navstar. We got a lab for that. Again, some of this is going to be a little redundant for those folks who took 230 with me over this past summer. The fifth week, we got GNSS methods of surveying, a few more chapters from GPS and Navstar, and a lab. The sixth week is the Ohio Society of Professional Surveyors Conference. I will be attending that again as well. That's Wednesday through Friday. Again, I will try to be as responsive as possible, as quickly as possible with the emails. However, I might be a little less available. That week, we'll talk about Opus. We'll go through all the material on the NGS website. We have a lab for that, going over Opus and various NGS tools. We'll look at all of it. We'll talk about topographic surveying with GPS. The 8th week, we will have a midterm exam that will cover the first half of the semester. Then the following week, we have spring break, which I believe is like Wednesday through Sunday. probably not going to be a whole heck of a lot going on Monday, Tuesday. It'll be a lot of Chris trying to get prepped and catch up with grades. So I'm not going to have much anything going on the 9th week. The following 10th week, we have managing GNSS surveys, a couple Navstar chapters and a lab on that. The 11th week, we'll talk about GNSS machine control. That's pretty much for on construction sites. We'll talk about GNSS boundary surveying. And then from there, the 13th week, we're in April already, the NSPS student competition. I've talked about that before in prior classes. What that is we take a group of students here from school, we go to Washington, D.C., and we participate on a national scale with other colleges that offer surveying programs around the country and perform various surveying tasks as a competition. It's a lot of fun. One day we went on a monument hunt. We pretty much scoured Washington, D.C., looking for various monuments. It was a blast. Another day we did like 4 or 5 survey-related events, doing some triangulation, doing some calculations and some stakeout, closing a traverse, things like that with a chain and compass. A lot of fun. I think the students last year had a blast. Some of you I've already asked about joining the team. Hopefully you're considering it. It's a lot of fun, but that will actually be from Monday through Thursday. That could change if we do throw something, if I throw something in there, and maybe we'll play that by ear. But as of right now, I'm not scheduling anything class content wise. The 14th week, we'll talk about GNSS for drone, LiDAR, some aerial mapping. I did have the elementary land surveying, chapter 27 in there. So there's one time where I'm going to use that as reference material. At the 15th week, we'll talk about the NSRS modernization. That's been coming for a while. They've been talking about it for years. I believe as of now, that is most likely going to get full-blown implemented for real this year. There's already some beta tools out on the NGS website if you want to do some transformations of coordinates to kind of see how much things are going to move and how much things are going to shift. It's very important. It's going to be affecting surveyors, every surveyor. So we definitely need to take some time and talk about that and show you, here's what this means. Here's the tools available to you to use. And then the final week will be the final exam, week 16. That will cover the whole entire semester. Homework and lab assignments. Again, I kind of grabbed this from a prior syllabus. It's talking about 10-point penalties for each week you're late. I think a lot of these are probably worth 10 points, so that's kind of ridiculous to say it's 10 points because that'd be worth nothing after 1 week. I'm pretty lenient on that. I would much rather you learn and actually complete the work and learn the content than worrying super hard about deadlines. With that being said, please do not take advantage of this. I don't want anything like the last week of the semester. So by the 15th week of the semester, at the very, very latest, if you have anything late, should be turned in. I might just go ahead and say right here, right now, the last week of the semester, I will not accept anything. You will get a 0 for it. I do have due dates on things. I would like you to keep up with them accordingly. However, as somebody who worked forever out in the field and understand how life gets, I get it. I'm willing to work with you. Again, much rather you learn the content than worry about the deadline. But please, don't take advantage of that. There is no extra credit for this class. However, maybe I ought to say that the NSPS student competition, that might be extra credit. No, I'm just kidding. Yes, there is a no-show policy that is very important. Like if you do not sign into the class, like within the first 2 weeks, you do not start doing anything at all, you will be designated as a no-show. What that does, if you have student financial assistance, I think that kind of messes that stuff up. I don't know the details on that. Do me a favor, show up, sign up, get into class. I can see the last time every student has been on in the Brightspace course. That's how I will check to see if you are a show or no show. So there's absence for religious observance. You're permitted to request up to 3 days each semester for an excused absence from a class for observance of religious holidays. Um, Now here it says you must notify me in writing within 14 days of the first day of instruction of this course if you plan to be absent for a religious holiday. Okay, you know what? I'm not going to worry about that. If you can let me know, I'm going to say clearly as soon as you possibly can. I'm okay with that. Um, Here's some stuff about the financial aid recipients and the no-show policy, what that does for financial aid. Um, Eligibility implications for financial aid recipients is non-attendance, dropping courses, withdrawing from courses, repeating academic progress, and the number of credit hours attempted and completed. I don't know much about how financial aid works, so I would have to direct you towards the financial aid office of the college to help you navigate through that. The no-show policy. So this is one thing I am aware of here, that the no-show period for Cincinnati State courses extends from the first scheduled day of a course until the last day to drop that course with a 50% refund. I believe there's a link to the calendar. I recommend check it out for yourself. Don't just take my word for it. But I believe that's like 2 weeks. You have 2 weeks from today. Student who enrolls but does not attend face-to-face class sessions or does not participate in online classes during the no-show period and does not officially drop or withdraw the class or withdraws from a course without having attended class will be designated as a no-show. Being marked as a no-show can have serious financial implications and cannot be reversed unless the no-show is assigned in error. Consult the Cincinnati State Catalog for additional information, and again, if you need to, financial aid or somebody else. I'm just an instructor, not an administrator. I don't know that stuff, but I would recommend go find the office that does that stuff for you. Withdrawing from a course. Says you should consult your instructor before withdrawing from a course. Help you fully understand your scores and provide support to help them complete whenever possible. I want everybody to pass. I want everybody to succeed. I will do the best that I possibly can for you to help you achieve that goal. Please, let's talk if you do have a feeling like you may want to withdraw. And if you need to, I totally understand. Again, I've seen students have to withdraw for family matters or personal issues. It happens. It's life. Yeah, so non-attendance leading to administrative withdrawal. Okay, so in this class, a specific number of consecutive weeks of class absences, after which you may be administratively withdrawn, is 3. Okay, all Cincinnati State students have an email account. You should check your email frequently for important announcements and communications from faculty members, advisors, and service offices. Students should conduct all email communications with faculty and staff using, oh, there's a bright old blackboard in there. Need to fix that. But you should have contact email communication with faculty, staff of the college using your college email. Here's some information on the IT help help desk. If you do have any instances or problems related to, gosh darn it, there's another blackboard, Brightspace, email, and other technology services. Here's their phone number and help. Academic integrity. I basically want you to act in a good way. The profession of surveying, professional surveyors have to act with a certain level of integrity. Hopefully this is a non-issue for students. This is where you need to learn. I need to behave, I need to act correctly, do not need to cheat, plagiarize, and all that stuff. You're only hurting yourself, you're only hurting the profession. So violations of academic integrity that constitute serious breaches of ethical behavior include but are not limited to cheating, fabrication, facilitating academic dishonesty, and plagiarism. If an instructor has reason to believe a violation of academic integrity has occurred, the violations procedure will start in a classroom as outlined in the instructor's syllabus. Penalties imposed by the instructor are limited to those actions whose ramifications fall within the confines of the class. The instructor has the option of filling out a report of the incident with the provost for documentation purposes. Only the provost can impose suspension or dismissal from the college. Students who violate academic integrity will receive a 0 for the assignment and will be reported to the provost. Disability Services. So the Office of Disability Services ensures that students with special needs receive the academic accommodations they need in their courses of study. Any student or prospective student who has a disability, as defined under the Disabilities Act, may register with the Office of Disability Services. Students who are eligible or think they might be eligible, please visit the office. They are in Main 129 or contact by phone or email. Now, as far as I am aware, I believe that if there are any students with this, this is purely confidential. I would be notified from the office themselves to say, hey, a student needs specific accommodations, and would probably lay that out. So for example, if I have a test that is timed, you have 2 hours to complete this test. Maybe an instance would be a student needs more time than your 2 hours. I give them 5 hours, I give them 10 hours, whatever it may be. I will more than happy to accommodate you. Those are just things that I'm aware of. If there are more, I don't know, but I'm more than willing to work with you and the office here on however we may help you succeed. There's also Title IX, which is federal civil rights law that prohibits discrimination based on sex in the college programs and activities. Sexual harassment, including sexual violence and retaliation, are forms of discrimination prohibited by Title IX. Staff and faculty have a duty to report and a duty to act in instances of situations or observations that would meet discriminatory and/or harassment guidelines under Title IX. If you are unsure of someone's duties and abilities to maintain privacy, ask them before speaking. To assure confidentiality and assistance that might qualify, problems may be reported to the college counseling services. Excuse me. Reports of sexual violence, assault, discrimination. Oh, excuse me. Reports of sexual violence, assault, discrimination, or harassment may also be reported by contacting the Director of Human Services. And they also may be filed online. There are links provided. We take this very seriously. Personally, I do not care what you look like, where you come from. As long as you're a good person, I like to be a good person. That's all I really care about. Treat everybody with respect, treat everybody with kindness. Some additional support services we have here. You can visit this link below for a complete list that are available at Cincinnati State. There is tutoring, counseling, parenting resource center, Surge food pantry, and much more. Again, I don't want anybody to do poorly. I want to see everybody succeed. I want everybody to do well. Please reach out if you have any concerns, any questions. I'm more than happy to meet with you, more than happy to talk with you. If you want to come in and say hello and talk face to face, more than happy to have you in the office. And again, office hours on Starfish. And if any of those times do not meet, shoot me an email. We can schedule something. I'm more than happy to meet you after hours or before hours or whatever we can work out. Well, that's about all I have for this. That's all that's really kind of going on this week. I just kind of wanted to give a brief introduction, say hello, kind of roll through the class and some of the expectations. I look forward to seeing everybody online, talking to everybody online, and let's have a great semester, okay? Thanks.